So who will you spend your holidays with? What will you do if your pet dies? What are you going to do when your favorite couple, that couple that you hang out with all the time and you love so much, what are you going to do when one day they announce to your entire group of friends that they're pregnant and everybody looks at them and says, oh my goodness, they're no longer going to be child-free. What's wrong with them? But in reality, they're excited. So if you love them as friends, you have to be happy. But what are you going to do when they're really no longer around? How are you going to handle that? Have you thought about any of these things? Because this is why I wrote the book, Childfree by Choice, Is It All It's Cracked Up to Be? Because I found after talking to a good amount of child-free people, I kind of came to a conclusion. I wondered, do people choose this lifestyle, or do people evolve into the lifestyle, or do they eventually just one day say we didn't have children and we are in the lifestyle? However you got to it, do people who are child-free ever really stop and think about how this choice is going to affect every area of their life? And do they ever think about how the choice today might work in the future? Will the choice today always be a good choice 20 years down the road? And have the child-free really thought about how the choice today might affect 20 years down the road? And have you tested to see if it really will be the best choice for you forever? Most child-free people say, yes, we're golden, absolutely. But I wrote this book to be introspective and to ask yourself questions and to really look at the different areas of the child-free movement just to make sure. Because I know the child-free don't want to mess with children, and they always get irritated when people ask them things like, so what are you going to do when you're old? They get so irritated. I don't care about when I'm old. Well, I need to tell you, one day you will be old. So what is your plan for when you are old? Because you will need to know the answer to that question, because someday, hate to tell you, but you're going to be old and you're going to have to make a decision about who's going to take care of you and where you're going to live and who's going to be in your network of friends. Will you have friends? Who's going to be left in your family? All of those are questions you need to ask yourself. Because life is hard and life presents circumstances that we don't always count on. And bad things happen to good people, really good people. What do you do when those things happen? Like, what would you do if in your late 20s or early 30s, you got cancer and you had to go to chemo? And what if you were child-free and not a couple? What if you were living all by yourself? You decided you didn't want kids, you just wanted a pet. So what do you do now? What if you live in a city away from your family? Who takes you to chemo? Who's with you? Who walks you through that process? I would hope to say a friend or a network of friends, but not always. Not all your friends might not always be able to be there. It's not that they wouldn't want to be there for you, but what if they travel, or what if their jobs take them away? And what if they don't have time? What if you were in a car accident? And what if you could never walk again? And what would you do if your spouse that loves to do fun things with you decides he don't want to go the long haul with this thing? Like, he doesn't want to spend the rest of his life with someone in a wheelchair. It would suck. That would be a terrible person, but that does happen to people. Then what do? You haven't invested in family and children. You don't have anyone else around. So what are you going to do? Who's going to take care of you? Do you go back home to your parents? Like, what do you do? We recently, our country was in lockdown. There was hundreds and hundreds of people on Twitter, single people, saying how lonely they were. They never thought that they would be 6 weeks at home with a pet, maybe even not even a pet, no one to talk to, aren't allowed to go anywhere. Really upset people. People don't want to be where they can't be around other people, but it happened. None of us counted on it. But people put on Twitter they were lonely, they were depressed, they were missing humans. People put down, I miss human interaction, I miss talking to somebody. Those are things that we don't think about. When you've chosen to be child-free, you've chosen to not invest your life in family and children, so you're walking a different path. And because of that choice, how is your life different? I am hoping that you read the book, and it is in a very convenient, downloadable PDF format, so it will be easy for you to type in your answers at the end of each chapter. I'm hoping that after you fill in those answers that you step back and you can see the areas that work for you, and then you can question the areas that either aren't working or that you need to formulate a plan. Whatever is going to be the best for you. And I am a happy mother myself, and it would also be fine if you realized at the end that maybe being child-free now might not always be what you want. Maybe it's not your permanent decision. But to each your own. I'm not trying to convert you as much as I'm trying to help you get a goal. Because if you've evolved into a lifestyle and you don't really know every part of it, you might as well step back and really consider all the different parts and how they're going to affect every area of your life, so you can get a goal and a plan, and you can fix the parts that might not work in the future so that they will work in the future, and that you will not get to the end of your life and say, oh my goodness, I really regret my decision because nobody ever explained things to me. I never really realized when I was 20 that when I'm older, I do want to have family. Like, you have no idea. You really don't have any idea. And so unless you sit down and really think about it and formulate your choices, you don't want to get to the end and be mad at yourself. This way, if you go through my book and you have a checklist and you continue to think about the future and the areas and how it works or doesn't work, that way there won't be any surprises when you're old.